It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
That is how you set a tone for a season. No Christian McCaffrey, no problem. 49ers 32, Jets 19. And the 49ers' quest to get back to yet another Super Bowl is on its way. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Pregame Show. Joe Spadoni, you got me for the next hour and for all day, right here at 95.7 The Game, whether it's the Pregame Show, whether it's the Morning Roast, Steiny, Goo, Willard, Dibbs, the Football Hour with Madsen and Grandy. It's all going to be right here at 95.7 The Game, your home for the best San Francisco 49ers coverage all season long. We're going to be breaking down this game. Probably the most impressive victory of the weekend, if we're being completely honest. I could not think of a more impressive victory from start to finish than the San Francisco 49ers and what they did to the New York Jets. The final score does not do this game justice. 32-19. Makes it feel like it was close at one point. It never really felt close, to be honest, after that first half. The 49ers and their depth proved once again to be better than the rest. Again, we learned no Christian McCaffrey. He's dealing with that Achilles. And I said it yesterday on the pregame show. Yesterday morning, pull up the tape. I would not play Christian McCaffrey in this game. Good thing Kyle Shanahan's a pregamer. He listened to me. That's what happened. At least that's what I'm going with. Kyle Shanahan was up that early. He says, you know what? Spadoni's right. It's just making too much sense. We can't risk the future of this team when Christian McCaffrey is our best offensive player, is the reigning offensive player of the year. Just sit him down. You know why? Because we got Jordan Mason. And what did Jordan Mason do? Oh, 28 carries, $147 and a touchdown. Average 5 yards a carry. It's a decent little day. And I'm sure fantasy owners that stashed him rejoiced everywhere. Sam Lubman, thumbs up. Oh, you didn't have Mason in our league. I thought you did. Sorry. I teed him up there. And oof.
I have him in a couple other leagues, but not the 95.7 league.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Steiny is holding me hostage on that one.
Oh, see, Steiner had him. Yeah, you probably should have started him.
Yeah, now looking forward to those negotiations.
Yeah, no, the negotiations was short. Shout out Obi-Wan.
I'm sure they will be.
Yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn. There you go.
Steiny, you want it? No.
Yeah, I traded Zamir White to Steiny. I don't think Zamir White did much in that. But as I digress, that was an impressive-ass victory last night. The vibes looked incredible. Was not at the game, but a lot of the 95.7 The Game hosts, producers, our footprint was there. And shout out to our digital crew. Shout out to Matt Nahigian. Shout out to Evan Giddings, Whitley, everyone from top to bottom. Just a tremendous night for Bay Area football as the 49ers hammer down Aaron Rodgers, who had won 10 straight Monday Night Football games, but not anymore. The last time he had lost, we played the highlight, was back in 2012 with the Fail Mary. Or was that 2014? 2012. I forget. It's fine. But back in early aughts, if you will, that was the last time Aaron Rodgers had lost Monday Night Football. The Fail Mary with the replacement refs, Russell Wilson, all of that. It was wild. It was crazy. But that's how long it's been. And I know Aaron Rodgers is not the same guy he once was. The arm's still there. Like watching that game last night, the arm talent is absolutely still there for Aaron Rodgers. The guy just can't move as well. And that's to be expected coming off an Achilles. And the guy's going to be 41 years old in a couple months. He's old. It is what it is. Also, he doesn't have the rapport with all these guys, all these new players. Like, you can say all you want about training camp, but the live game reps, those things matter. And whether it was preseason, not playing there, what have you, I get it. You want to stay safe, all of that. Just quarterback play in general over this weekend has not been great. Troy Aikman, Hall of Famer, former Dallas Cowboy, and current color analyst, obviously, for Monday Night Football alongside Joe Buck, does an incredible job. He joined Scott Van Pelt in the pregame yesterday. And he was just talking about, the quarterback play just not being very good right now. And he wasn't sugarcoating it. And he wasn't doing, the Joe Lacob. He wasn't going to do that. The sugarcoat job.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You can sit here and do a sugarcoat job.
No, that's not what Troy Aikman does. And he said the quarterback play just has not been good enough. Is it possible that we're seeing a little shift back to maybe the running back being a little more prominent in the offense than the quarterback? Is that possible? Going back to early 2000s, some 90s, featuring those, bell cow backs. Now, a guy that got compared to Christian McCaffrey, who again, McCaffrey not playing yesterday, Jordan Mason, just an incredible performance, but was Breece Hall. Running back for the New York Jets was getting a lot of love early on this season. A lot of love. And he still might be a baller. He ended up finishing with 16 carries, 54 yards, a touchdown. But the play of the game for me, and it's the same guy. And we were talking about it yesterday. The guy that set the tone for the season last year in game 1 was Fred Warner. Teeing off on Najee Harris, pushing him back out in Pittsburgh. Well, last night, on the Jets' second possession, if you will, as Breece Hall was trying to scamper for a first down, this is what happened.
This is the 4th snap for Rodgers. Floyd was there, and it's a little flip, a catch, a fumble by Hall, and a recovery by the 49ers. Warner made the stop and punched it right out of the arm of Breece Hall.
Just an absolute picture-perfect peanut punch, if you remember Peanut Tillman. That's what it was. Fred Warner, again, making the play when they needed it. They only ended up getting 3 points off it, but you know what? They get a score. Rodgers comes back. They get a touchdown. But after that, it was all 49ers. Took a 16-7 lead into the half. Jake Moody. You kidding me? 6 for 6? Picking up where he left off at the end of last year, and I get it. If you were shaky on Jake Moody heading into the season, and his long yesterday was 53-yarder, I think you can sit back, relax, and chill. So 888-957-9570. Where are you at, Niners fans? I want to hear from you. Call or text the Xfinity mobile text line. Again, 888-957-9570. How impressive was that victory for you? What did you like? What did you not like? All of that in between. We're going to be breaking down this game all day long right here on 95.7 The Game. You don't want to go anywhere else for your 49ers coverage. I can promise you that. And also be sure to hit us up on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. We would greatly appreciate it. You can also follow me on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it, at Spadoni_Joe. Come on. I'm like at 9:15. Let's get to 1,000 by the end of the week. Can we do that? Probably not. But I'll keep trying. From the Xfinity mobile text line, 408. We all listen to the pregame, baby. Let's go. Oreo cookie. That's right. Shanny was listening when I told him not to start Christian McCaffrey. I told him. Here's Shanahan talking about it yesterday.
Just the same stuff that was bothering him all week. There was a little too much today. Game time decision. He came in, just talking to him about it. It was still there. Thought it was going to be smart to keep him out, and glad we did.
Yeah, before that, he mentioned I was listening to Joe Spadoni in the pregame show, and he said, don't start him. And I was like, you know what? He's making a good point. But then he went into that. But there was no, why even risk it? Right? They were talking about on the broadcast yesterday, too, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, still the best in the biz as far as I'm concerned. That tandem is very, very elite. You have your Nances and Romo, and we'll wait and see with Brady. I think everyone's crushing him. Let's relax. Let's give it a second. I think Tom has to figure out that there's a difference between a television product and just, speaking. You have to be entertaining a little bit. And I think he needs to break out of his shell. Maybe he'll learn from that. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks, but that doesn't always mean you're going to be one of the greatest announcers of all time. But listening to the broadcast last night, they were talking about, Kyle Shanahan and what he does and what his dad did with late round picks and undrafted free agents, running back specifically. And Jordan Mason obviously is no exception to that. Again, 28 carries, $147, just an incredible job. And this is what Jordan Mason had to say after the game on when he found out he would start.
When did you find out that you were going to be starting?
Friday night, something like that. I was RB1 at training camp, so, just been preparing from there.
That's right. That's the RB1 mindset. He's just been chilling. Hey, That helped him, though. Like, that's a real thing. Getting those reps and keeping Christian McCaffrey off there, saving Christian from himself, if you will, ended up paying huge dividends in this game. He looked fresh. He looked strong. He looked powerful. He looked fast. Jordan Mason, hey, that turf out there at whatever hell, Viking Stadium, US Bank Stadium, is that what it is? Maybe I could keep Christian out another week. That's what they were reporting, right? Keep him out another week. I'm fine with that. Don't mess with the Achilles. We've seen this in the Bay Area multiple times. We just saw it months ago when Dre Greenlaw was playing with a sore Achilles. What happened? Tore it in the Super Bowl. We've seen it with Kevin Durant. You try to keep him out as long as possible, comes back in the finals, torn Achilles. You just don't want to mess with these things. Again, shout out to Cranberries. You do not want to let it linger. Jonathan, San Jose. He wants to join in the conversation. 888-957-9570. Where are you at, Niners fans? This is the most impressive victory of the weekend. I want to hear you bumping your gums, thumping your chests. Where are you at? 888-957-9570. Let's go out to Jonathan. What's up, man?
Hi, good morning, man. I didn't realize on Monday Night Football we're going to have Phil Collins Mondays now. What do you think about that?
I'm not mad at it. Maybe I'll play a Phil Collins.
You're the first person I thought of.
Yeah, let's go.
Sorry.
You're good.
You were the first person. I thought, Spadoni, this is us all the way. This is that morning roast crew right here, baby. It's like they made Monday Night Football for all of us. Let's go. But I'm excited. I like seeing what I saw last night. I love Fred Warner doing his thing. But what I don't like right now is, of course, you got Aaron Rodgers getting saved by these other radio shows saying, well, they didn't really get to show what they really have last night. You had 4 quarters. The 49ers shut it down. They saw what you had. They said, nope, not in our house. Not on Monday night. Let's go, baby.
Huge. Jonathan, San Jose, 888-957-9570. He's fired up. You should be. You should be absolutely elated right now, Niners fans. That was the most impressive victory over the weekend. And I do think the Jets are going to be a good team this year. I do. I am very high on the New York Jets. And I don't know about other radio hosts being apologists for Aaron Rodgers. Look, he looked like a guy that didn't play all last season. He looked like a guy that's 40 years old. The arm talent's still undeniable. You can see that. But it's going to be tough for him if you get pressure in his face. That being said, I still think the Jets are going to be a good team. They will compete for the AFC East title, and they have an opportunity potentially. And what I believe this year, maybe that's an overreaction Tuesday here on the pregame show, I think the AFC is going to take a slight step back this year. And I think the NFC is right there when it comes to the depth and quality of teams. I said it a couple weeks ago. I'm going to stand by that. This whole narrative that the AFC is just somehow way more elite than the NFC when it comes to the quality of their quarterbacks. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's pump the brakes. You've had Joe Burrow make it to a Super Bowl. You've had Patty Mahomes make it to a Super Bowl in the AFC. Who else? Exactly. Aaron Rodgers made it in the NFC. He's never done this in the AFC before. So that's a wait and see. So Mahomes, Burrow, and Joe Flacco's a backup somewhere. If I'm missing someone else that has represented the American Football Conference in the Super Bowl right now that's a starter, let me know. Because right now it's the only two. Go to the NFC. I mean, Stafford, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy. I mean, if my math is correct, that's 3-2. Maybe more experience in the NFC side with their quarterbacks get into a Super Bowl. Now, if I was mistaken there, I did it off the top of my head, 888-957-9570. But I mean, this whole narrative that the AFC is just, if the Niners are in the AFC, please. If the Niners are in the AFC right now, it'd be them and the Chiefs. I'm confident in saying that. Yes, over the Ravens. Texans are very good. I got to wait and see more, but I mean, they are flying. Texans are scary right now. I will give them that. But I thought that was the most impressive victory over the weekend. What say you? 888-957-9570. Good morning to all you lovely people just getting off work, getting ready for it, getting ready to school. This is the day. These are the days where you're just excited to get up and go talk smack to your friends. If they're a Cowboys fan or a Jets fan or a Raiders fan, This is where you talk your smack. This is the fun part of the week. And you get a smile all week long, headed into Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're going to be taking on old friends Sam Darnold, Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, and co. And they played well last week. I'm not sleeping on the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not. But the Niners should handle their business because you know what? As they showed last night, the Niners is deeper than everyone else still. They're just deeper. And they're experienced, and they've been there. Speaking of experience, and speaking of being there, we'll get into this. Brandon Ayuk obviously played yesterday. Didn't have his greatest game. 2 receptions, 28 yards. Been better. Got a drop touchdown. Speaking of that drop touchdown, this is right before halftime, so let's play it first. And then let's listen to the Manning Cast's version. So we'll go from Buck, Aikman to Manning's on the drop touchdown before halftime.
Second down, end zone. Ayuk can't make the catch. It was there, and Brandon Ayuk, in his first game since the big deal, could not haul it in.
Man-to-man, Jennings. Oh, what a throw.
Ayuk, he's a little rusty, Pate. You know, he's missed all training camp.
Get signed, get in training camp. There's a reason for training camp. You need it. We need the reps.
Oh.
Get those contracts done earlier so we can get in training camp. We don't drop balls on opening night.
Right, it's probably one thing catching passes, running routes. All of a sudden you're laying out for a pass, full speed, diving. That's why, yeah, those happen in camp. You make those, you practice those. That's just a little rusty right there.
You're still catching balls at a high school field from some quarterback that's 45 years old, my age. You're not catching balls from your quarterback. Get signed, get in camp, and we don't drop the ball.
Why was Peyton Manning so angry?
Never heard Peyton Manning so angry before.
No, yeah,
it's like getting chewed out by Sheriff Woody,
right? No, I think of when I think of Peyton Manning getting angry. There's that famous clip of the where they did like America's Team or whatever when they chronicle the entire season of a Super Bowl champion on NFL Network, and they have that famous scene when the Colts ended up winning their first ever title with Peyton Manning, and it's him and Jeff Saturday going at it because they wanted to run the ball more. Jeff, the offense, he's like, no, we should run the ball more, and Peyton's like, no, you snap the ball, I'll do the plays, all right? And
there's some extra words in there.
Exactly.
Too.
And they were going at each other and they were getting each other's faces, cussing each other out, as you do as a leader and stuff like that. But that's like when I think of peak angry Peyton Manning. But just the disgust, and I get it. It's from a quarterback perspective. Him, Eli, and Bill Belichick was actually there. He didn't really say much. I think he mumbled something. He just made a noise.
Brandon.
But the disgust from one Peyton Manning on Brandon, listen. Did he look rusty? Yes. But let's not act like that was the most egregious drop of all time. He had to kind of dive for it. Like, come on. Should he have caught it? Yes. Was it this 100 out of 100 catch it every single time ball? No. Like, it was not more egregious than Alan Lazard and what should have been on that first drive for the New York Jets, should have been an easy first down. No, it wasn't as egregious as that. But Peyton Manning just ripping into Brandon Ayuk. Is this going to be the thing this year? Is Brandon Ayuk going to be a punching bag if he drops something now? Are we all just, he's holding out? Oh, come on. Like, what I'm more impressed with, and Brandon Ayuk didn't have a great game, and the Niners still dominated. That should be scary hours for the rest of the league. I'm looking at the box score right now, and we watched it last night, and Brock Purdy. I mean, I know the stat line's not going to look sexy. 19 of 29, 231, took 2 sacks. It didn't look amazing.
I am happy with Brock Purdy.
You were thinking the exact same thing as me, Sam Lubin. Look at you. Same time.
Well, there's 2 I am happy with Brock Purdy's next to each other on this board. I had to guess which one is which. There's one that says I'm happy with Brock Purdy. And then there's Bonte screaming, I am happy with Brock Purdy. So there you go.
I'm happy with Brock Purdy. I am happy with Brock Purdy.
I'm very interested if Vontae's happy with Brock Purdy coming up in 40 minutes with Joe Shasky. By the way, we got some incredible news today. We got the GOAT joining our 95.7 The Game airwaves, Sam Lubman. What time?
That will be at 8:30.
Jerry Rice, 8:30.
Could he have caught that pass in the back of the end zone?
That's a great question. And maybe we will play Peyton Manning's reaction and his disgust level at Brandon Ayuk not being able to catch that ball. I know Jerry Rice probably would have, because Jerry Rice is the greatest of all time, if not the greatest football player in the history of the sport. 8:30, River Island's guest line. Jerry Rice, not going to want to miss that. Always a good time. Always a fun game. Brian Baldinger, usually on Tuesdays, going to be tomorrow. So we got Baldy's breakdown, right? Correct? Baldy's breakdowns tomorrow.
He's at Jets practice tomorrow, too.
Oh, very interesting.
See what that attitude's like.
And Baldy was very high on this Jets team coming into this season. Very high on this Jets team. He said they were going to win the AFC East. I still think they are as well. I think the Dolphins got lucky. That Travis Etienne, maybe you say luck isn't there, and maybe Etienne just doesn't fumble. Maybe you can say that was just a good comeback. Thought they got a little lucky, but you know what? Better lucky than good sometimes. They beat the Jaguars. Bills, nice come from behind victory over the Cardinals as they were getting lambasted early on in that game, and then Josh Allen took over. So now, and by the way, the Patriots won. That's right. So the Jets are in last place. They're the only ones without a win. Oh, the Jets. Jets, Jets. But as I digress here, I was talking about Brock Purdy. I was talking about the receiving. And just the distribution of wealth. Shout out Bernie Sanders. This was an equal distribution of wealth. Juwan Jennings, 5 receptions, 64 yards. Deebo Samuel, 5 receptions, 54 yards. He also had 23 rushing yards and a touchdown. Kyle Juszczyk, 2 receptions, 40 yards. George Kittle, 4 receptions, 40 yards. Brandon Ayuk again, 2 receptions, 28, and 1 for 5 yards to Jordan Mason. That's called spreading the wealth. That's called being a great quarterback. Not a good quarterback, great quarterback. Because any quarterback can lock in and target a Devontae Adams 20 times, a Justin Jefferson 20 times, a Jamar Chase 20 times. Being able to feed Jennings, Juszczyk, Kittle, Deebo, Ayuk, everyone getting touches, not only is it going to be a happy locker room, be a happy head coach, it's going to be a happy offense, and it's going to be a very depressing defense on the other side, because not only are getting cooked by guys like Deebo and Ayuk, but now Juwan Jennings, who's obviously no slouch, who's probably going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl, if not for a guy named Patrick Mahomes. So just an incredible job from Brock Purdy last night. The box score, I don't think does it justice. I look at the distribution and the receiving box score numbers, and that's where the tail is for me. Kyle Shanahan on how Purdy looked without Christian McCaffrey.
He seemed very, very good. I mean, there was many plays that he left out there. I thought he made some big-time plays. I mean, there towards the end, got a little conservative, just felt that we had the game and wanted to focus on winning the game, so we didn't have him do a lot there at the end, and he was very smart with the ball, made sure that there was no chance for them to get back in the game.
And there wasn't. I had no worries about the 49ers' ability to not hang on to the lead. They hang on to it, and they were fine. This Niners team, after all they've been through the last 7 months of just heartbreak, anguish, holdouts, no CMC right before the game. I mean, they knew for a couple days, but no Christian McCaffrey. And to go out and have that performance, they could have had a dud on Monday Night Football. And would anyone be really shocked? I don't think I would have been shocked because of all the drama. But for the team to compartmentalize all of that, to put it to the side, and to let the play on the field do the talking, it was very impressive. It's week 1. It's a long season, but I know how the tone was set last year. And if that's any indication, 49ers could get off to another hot start. You look at the schedule coming up. At Minnesota, at the Rams. Not going to be easy. The Vikings looked good last week. They beat the Giants, who are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. So take it with a grain of salt. But Sam Darnold looked good. Justin Jefferson is going to cause the 49ers secondary some problems. Now the offensive line, that's another conversation. And Sam Darnold is not Aaron Rodgers. Even a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers coming off Achilles, I would take over Sam Darnold. Even though Sam Darnold, my comeback player of the year, nominee. Just saying he's a leader in the clubhouse after week 1. Then you got the Rams after that. In Los Angeles, no Puka Nacua. He's going to be out at least the next 4 games. You got Cooper Kupp there still. Kyron Williams is still a baller. But they got injuries already. Stafford was taking shots in that Detroit game. Absolute shots. But that's always going to be a tricky one. But the Niners, as the Niners have done, when their starters play, they usually dominate the Rams in the regular season. Then after that, you got the Patriots, you got the Cardinals, you got the Seahawks. And maybe, just maybe, you're undefeated heading into that game against the hated Kansas City Chiefs on October 20th. But that's a long way to go. We're not looking ahead. We're focused on the win right now. And it was a tremendous win. And I want to hear from the people at 888-957-9570. That's the number to call in. Your thoughts on the 49ers' dominant win over the New York Jets. Brock Purdy, what do you think about his performance? No Christian McCaffrey. What do you think about Jordan Mason? All of that and more coming up next on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart.
I thought, there's some things that we could all probably do a little bit better at, just with myself included, just the live speed and having everybody in together, tied together with everything, shifts, motions, operation, going against man coverage, finding ways to get open and being on time. Like there's just that the sense of urgency that I think that we can be a little bit better with. I think we found that as the game went on, but definitely feel like we could all still get better.
Brock Purdy right there. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni rolling on. One segment down, 2 more to go here, and you just heard from the quarterback there. I'm going to improve upon some stuff. 49ers 32, New York Jets 19, the final. Niners improved to 1-0 atop the NFC West alongside Seattle, the only other team in the division to get a win in week 1. So 1 week down, week 2, headed to Minneapolis, Minnesota. But we're worrying about the Vikings later on. Let's worry about this game right now. And we're going to be breaking it down all day long right here on 95.7 The Game. Bonte and Chassie coming up in 30 minutes. They've got the GOAT, Jerry Rice, greatest wide receiver of all time, joining them at 8:30 to break down this game, to break down all the performances, to break down Brandon Ayuk. We've obviously heard from Peyton Manning. He was not very happy about Brandon Ayuk dropping that touchdown in the corner of the end zone. I will say this, I'm not worried about it when the team's already dominating without him. Like, that's a good sign for me, is that you don't need to rely on Brandon Ayuk like he did a lot last year, who was second team All-Pro and who was the best player outside of Christian McCaffrey on offense, and obviously Brock Purdy a part of that as well. 888-957-9570, the number to call or text, the Xfinity mobile text line. Also hit us up on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Let's go out to Lawrence, who's out in South City. He wants to join on the conversation. What's going on, Lawrence? You're on the pregame show.
Hey, morning, guys. Thanks for taking the call. Yeah, I want to go trenches here. Most notably, first I'll go O-line. 77 Puni, he's a beast. But I want to go D-line here, and I want to talk about the free agent acquisition, Malik Collins, this guy was penetrating on run plays. He was active on, pass rush downs. I think we got him for, a 6th-round pick. But, Eric Armstead, he served, 9 years, admirable work, on the D-line. But the run defense is back in full effect.
Absolutely. That's Lawrence out in South City, 888-957-9570. The run defense was impressive yesterday. Again, the conversation heading into the game was Breece Hall. He's Christian McCaffrey light. Well, not really yesterday. 16 carries, 54 yards. Now, receiving the ball was impressive too. 5 receptions, 39. So in the passing attack, little dump offs here and there. He was good. But on the ground, Niners held their own. And they did that in the Super Bowl too. Like, the Malik Collins acquisition absolutely helps. Leonard Floyd getting the sack. I was a little overzealous yesterday when my prediction was 2 sacks for Leonard Floyd. I'll take the 1. His prop bet was probably half a sack. If you hit that, then you're happy. But the run defense, for me, and that was a big part of Eric Armstead's game. Him not really getting to the quarterback as much, but that run defense, when he was in there, was a lot better. But if you got his replacement in Malik Collins and the penetration he was getting in the backfield, good luck. You saw it with Aaron Rodgers. He wasn't mobile. And he was only sacked once, but he was hurried. He was pressured. You got hands in his face. You make him nervous. A guy coming off an injury, you don't just get in his way. Make him feel you. And that doesn't always mean you're getting hands on and stuff like that, but they feel your presence in his peripherals. That's how you get quarterbacks nervous. That's how the Giants, both those times in the Super Bowl, beat Tom Brady. Those great defensive lines, just getting around him and making him nervous in the pocket, because that's what Aaron Rodgers is going to be now. He's just going to be a pocket quarterback. He's not going to be rolling out as much as he used to. He's not going to be scampering around as much as he used to. He's going to have to be that Tom Brady type of a player where you're going to be a statue back there. And if your offensive line's not doing its job, it's going to be a long day. That's just the name of the game right now. That's why it's very nice to have guys that are mobile and can extend and can do what Lamar Jackson does, or hell, Patrick Mahomes. But that's not Aaron Rodgers' game anymore. He used to be. He used to be athletic. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson level, but he used to be pretty athletic, running for first downs and whatnot. That's not going to be the case. Kyle Shanahan on Jordan Mason. And again, the talk of this game is Jordan Mason for me. He knew he was starting Friday. Christian McCaffrey was announced as inactive, but everyone knew in that building it was going to be Jordan Mason's game. He had a couple days to sit on it. 28 carries, $147, 1 touchdown. Here's the head coach talking about how much Mason has pushed himself.
I think Jordan's really pushed himself each year of just the way he's worked off the field, being more conditioned. He's never been badly conditioned, but we got some guys in our building like Christian, guys like Fred, Juice, George, guys who are very obsessive with how they work out, how they condition themselves, how they eat, how they sleep. And I think that stuff's really rubbed off on JP over the years.
And here's the head coach talking about the defense, as Lawrence just alluded to, and that defensive line and shutting down the run for the most part.
Yeah, I was really happy watching the D from the sidelines. I mean, I thought they were running and hitting. That's the thing that jumps out the most. They got a few big plays on us on a couple drives that got them moving, but for the most part, I thought we were winning most of the downs and gave up a couple big ones that we got to clean up, but I was real impressed with our defense today.
And how impressed were you by Nick Sorensen's first game as defensive coordinator?
I thought it was great. I've been on that side of the headsets throughout the preseason. I am a lot during the games and just listen to the communication with those guys. Nick's done a great job with all the position coaches and everyone there. They got a real understanding of what we're trying to do, and they communicate well, and I've been very happy with that side of the ball.
Nick Bosa on if he and the defense are in a better spot now than a year ago.
Yeah, you definitely build some cohesiveness, and like you said, we're just scratching the surface. We're going to have a lot of fun games, I think.
Well, I'd hope Nick was in a better place than a year ago, considering he missed all of training camp and whatnot and showed up to Pittsburgh after just being a new deal a couple days prior. So, yes, I would hope that he is definitely better this time than last year. In the defense, it's going to be interesting to monitor that all year. I know the conversation last year was Steve Wilkes and just it wasn't the 49ers defense. It wasn't what they're used to. It's a new guy trying to adapt his scheme to this and all that. It was just a mess. And if you can just not have that, you can have a normal, just simple transition to this defensive coordinator, Nick Sorensen, a guy who's been in the system now for a little bit. That would be huge, I think, for the players in that locker room, just for their confidence, because there is something to be said. And I've been a defender of Steve Wilkes on the station. Not a lot have been, but I have been. I thought in the biggest game of the year, his defense showed up. But there is something to be said about being comfortable and having the familiarity of a scheme, the players around you, what you're doing day in and day out, the verbiage, getting the calls from the heads, all that sort of stuff. And it trickles down. Sorensen, Warner, Bosa. Now for DNs, it's a little just see ball, get ball. See quarterback, hit quarterback. But even then, the communication has to be crisp, has to be clean, has to be concise. And I think a lot of that goes back to Nick Sorensen being with this team now for a little bit, being able to use that verbiage, letting the players know they could understand, clear communication. And I think we saw that yesterday. Malik Collins, again, that addition, Leonard Floyd. Can this defensive line be better than last year? Looking at Javon Hargrave, too. Can he be better than last year? Nick Bosa, could he be better than last year? It was a down year for Nick Bosa standards, which is still pretty damn good compared to the rest of the league. But can he be better? I'm looking for Nick Bosa to have a game next week against the Vikings. That much I do know. All right. Going to take one more break. Come on back. More of your calls, more of your texts. 888-957-9570. 49ers 32, Jets 19. What stood out to you the most? The performances. Brock Purdy wasn't the sexiest box score, but I thought he was very efficient, very clean, very concise. He was good. 19 of 29, 231. Should Ayuk have caught the touchdown in the corner? Peyton Manning thinks so. And maybe we'll react to that more on the other side because I don't know why he's so mad about that. It wasn't that disgraceful that it hit him in the hands and he dropped it. Is that because he missed training camp? I don't know. He had a drop earlier too. Maybe it is rust. I thought The one in the corner end zone, though, where he kind of had to dive for it, wasn't as a layup as he made it seem. But we'll get into that more on the other side. It's a pregame show. Joe Spadoni rolling on here on 95.7 The Game.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a series.
Joe Spadoni. You're listening to the pregame show with Joe Spadoni. Right here on 95.7 The Game. I'm happy with Brock Purdy.
Thanks, Bonte. Bonte and Chasky, 12 minutes away. Morning roast. They got Jerry Rice, the GOAT, joining them at 8:30, courtesy of the River Islands guest line. But right now, we're just breaking down just the best win of week one. No, it wasn't the Chiefs over the Ravens. It wasn't the Eagles over the Packers. It wasn't the Saints over the bad Panthers. It wasn't the Texans over the Colts. It was the Niners over the Jets. It dominated that game. Dominated it. And that's supposed to be one of the top defensive units in all of football? Good luck, then. Good luck. Robert Saleh. He better get to the playoffs. And even if he does get to the playoffs, I don't know if he lasts. I mean, your bread and butter is the defensive side of the football, and you gave him a 32 burger, and it could have been worse. I mean, Jake Moody had 6 field goals. 6. And by the way, Jake Moody. I mean, we're talking all this Jordan Mason, but Jake Moody, 6 of 6. Hey. Did his job. Yeah, any worries about Jake Moody now? Not me. I'm 0 worries about my kicker right now. 0. Until he misses one the next time, and then you worry. But that's just the nature of being a kicker. But right now, no worries at all in regards to Jake Moody. Kyle Shanahan, are you worried at all about Jake Moody and his performance as I go through this? Because I thought I had a Jake Moody cut from Kyle Shanahan, and now I'm realizing I don't think I do. Which, you know what? That's unfortunate because there should be some Jake Moody cuts. And if no one, oh, there we go. How comfortable he is for going it for 50 yards or longer. There we go.
Probably for the distance, yeah. The difference with Jake, he does have a big leg, and I get a number and where we can attempt it from, and I don't really think much different of it, whether it's 50 or 47. I don't think it's too big of a difference for him.
There you go. It wasn't what I was looking for. Glowing just remarks about Jake Moody's performance. That's fine. I get it. Kicker talk doesn't rate as well. But I got love for the kickers and the punters and the long snappers, all those. You're people too, all right? There's punters and kickers in the Hall of Fame, baby. Don't you forget it. Don't get it twisted, all right? Incredible performance from Jake Moody last night. Incredible performance from damn near everybody on the 49ers. But is it going to be an incredible performance from Lars in Pacifica? That's the question. Lars, what's up, man? You're on the pregame show.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Tuesday morning. My 2 cents on the San Francisco 49ers, man, is that the big doubts that we had before this game are all over. We're talking about the O-line. I heard so much about the O-line not being up to par. Look at the run game. Look at the pass blocking. The O-line looks freaking great. I don't want to hear any more crap about, oh, the O-line is this, the O-line is that. The O-line looked fantastic. And the whole Brock Purdy is going to regress. I think he had one bad drive with a couple missed throws in a row. But it's like, I think for all of the week one passers, I think Brock is like number 1 in passing yards. So the big 2 doubts about San Francisco, the O-line not being good enough, you know, the Brock Purdy regression in year 2, it's all false. I am stoked. I love when the 49ers win, and I'm going to have a great week. That's all I got.
There you go. That's Lars out in Pacifica. Appreciate you, Lars. 888-957-9570. Get your calls in now. We're going to wait for the morning roast, but come on. Come sound off now. You're happy. You're up early. You're up early because you're happy. And if you're not up early because you're happy because you have to work, hey, you went to work happy this morning. Come on. You're feeling great. Football wins, just they change people. The mood's better. You know, oh, honey, you want that at the store? You know what? Let's get that. The Niners won. We're feeling good. You know what? You can get that sweater. You know what? Let's get the guacamole at Chipotle. We're feeling good. That's what a win does. And the Niners had the best win of the week. And they looked like the best team in the NFL. I'll say it. They looked like the best team in the NFL. You can say it. Why, really? Brock Purdy's performance could have been so much worse. The score for the Jets, that is. And our engineer, Justin's here somewhere. He's not going to be feeling good. He's not going to be feeling good. He's a big Jets fan. Big New York Yankees and Jets fan. Yankees are doing good. They're thinking they're a game and a half up in the AL East, so maybe you should just stick to baseball right now, and then football season can start after. But we know what happens with the Yankees in the playoffs. They'll fade. Sorry, Justin, if you're listening. Love you, buddy. Let's listen to one of the guys that did one of the big holdouts and the biggest guy on the team. In fact, Trent Williams, on how this team is able to shrug off all the offseason distractions, including his own.
We got great leaders in this locker room, and we got people who follow the leaders. And, you know, we got leaders that echo what the coaches are preaching. And so I think that's the reason our locker room is able to stay focused.
Your thoughts, future Hall of Famer Trent Williams, on the rookie's performance making his first ever start in the NFL, Dominic Pooney.
I'm thrilled to go back and watch the game and just kind of see how he did. Obviously, he played well. We all as a group ran the ball pretty well. We protected pretty well. I'm not sure what the sack numbers look like, but, you know, I can't remember anything just, you know, blatant. But obviously his head has to be spinning. Week one, you know, you got a Jets defensive line that's kind of been, you know, talked about throughout the last couple of years as being, you know, the defense and all, you know, not even just the line, front seven, the cornerbacks. You know, we've heard a lot about him, so I'm sure his head was spinning, you know, going out there getting his first start. But, you know, obviously I think he played well. I haven't seen it yet, but just going off the results, I think he played well.
And that defensive line for the New York Jets is no joke. I want to reiterate that. Like, Quentin Williams is a beast. He's a beast. He's an all-pro. And early on, you saw him bullying McKivitz a little bit, but they picked it up. 3 sacks total for them. Sauce Gardner got a sack. Yeah, Sauce. Tony Adams. And then Michael Clemens. But the big boy, the beef, hey, Dominic Pooney, Trent Williams, McKivitz, Brendel, they're all holding their own. And I was impressed. Again, I came away from that game that was a complete performance for me. And again, we're going to do this. We're going to micro and dissect box scores and all this sort of stuff and just say, oh, Brock's a $300 million quarterback because he didn't throw a touchdown. I don't know. Come on. Watching that game last night and just how in control Purdy was of that offense, I think Baldy said it best, having the keys to that Lamborghini and not being afraid to rev the engines and go fast. Because when you have a sports car, come on. You're not going 20 miles an hour down 17-mile drive heading into Pebble Beach and being like, No, you rev those engines, get on Highway 680, you can blast it. All right? Now, you got to be careful. And I'm not advocating to speeding or anything like that. And you can be reasonable. But you got to let those engines go, baby. And at times, Brock Purdy was letting that thing fly. Now, Brandon Ayuk with the not catch in the end zone. And if you are just joining us, I played this at the start of the show. I'll play it again before heading into the morning roast. Here's Peyton Manning in the Manning cast alongside Eli Manning, and Bill Belichick was the guest at the time. Not very happy with the Ayuk dropped touchdown.
Man to man, Jennings.
What a throw. Ayuk, he's a little rusty, Pate. You know, he's missed all training camp.
Get signed, get in training camp. There's a reason for training camp. You need it. We need the reps.
Oh.
Get those contracts done earlier so we can get in training camp. We don't drop balls on opening night.
Right, it's probably one thing catching passes, running routes. All of a sudden you're laying out for a pass, full speed, diving. That's why, yeah, those happen in camp. You make those, you practice those. That's just a little rusty right there.
You're still catching balls at a high school field from some quarterback that's 45 years old, my age. You're not catching balls from your quarterback. Get signed, get in camp, and we don't drop the ball.
Yes, the disgust from one Peyton Manning on the Manning cast on ESPN yesterday. Why are you so angry? Why are we so angry about that? We won the game. At the time, I know it was a big... Should he have caught it? Yeah. I don't think it was it was the easiest catch in the history of catches, though. That Peyton Manning made it seem like it was. He had to dive a little bit to get it in the corner of the end zone. He didn't get it. But my overarching theme is not that play. But if some people want to call in and just lambaste Brandon Ayuk, I just know where your head's at. You're going to be rooting against him all season long because of the holdout. Which, if that's how you fan, that's how you fan. That could never be me. I do not have that much. I was already exhausted talking about contract talk, let alone rooting against a guy because he wanted to just get paid more money. Yeah, we would all like to get paid more money. It just is what it is. And he got his money. He's a 49er. So root for him as such. And if you don't want to, then, hey, root against him then. But then you're rooting against your own team, and that defeats the whole purpose. All right. Kyle Shanahan on scoring on 8 straight possessions after the first series.
You don't really have expectations like that. You just try to score every time you get the ball, and I don't expect to go 3 and out ever, but it still happens. So I didn't know that we did that until they just told me, and it kind of made sense that I don't remember seeing Mitch very much, and so that did make sense. Not having Christian is huge, but we've got a team that really commits to running the ball. We got 10 guys out there who block for whoever the running back is, and we got some running backs and some receivers who know how to lower their pads and run the ball too.
Again, tremendous win from the San Francisco 49ers yesterday over the New York Jets, 32-19, the final. Bonte and Chassie are coming up here in just a second. They got the GOAT, Jerry Rice, joining them at 8:30, courtesy of the River Islands guest line. They're fired up. We want to hear from you. 888-957-9570. Start lining up the phone lines right now to sound off your grades, your biggest impressions, who had the biggest game, who were you most impressed by? Was it Dominic Pooney? Was it Brock Purdy? Was it Jordan Mason? Was it Jake freaking Moody? 6 of 6 for the... He's my MVP. Everyone's going to go Mason. I'm going Jake Moody, man. Scored 20 points. All right? More than half the points scored in the game was from that guy, Jake Moody. He gets my game ball. Who gets yours? 888-957-9570. That's all coming up next on The Morning Roast. Have a good day, everybody.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Hey, it's Bonte with an update from River Islands in Lathrop, Northern California's fastest growing master plan community. River Islands has a tradition of welcoming quality home builders who offer a wide variety of home styles, sizes, and prices. And the prices are pretty good for you. Right now, the community is celebrating a whole series of grand openings, introducing all new model homes and neighborhoods built